Here's the challenge we have. The criminal justice system we've been using in this country for 40 years says jail and prison is the solution to crime, but it fails almost 80% of the time. And to me, as somebody who's dedicated my life to the criminal justice system, an 80% failure rate is unacceptable. And to put forward stories of the failures of the current approach in one or two cities is important, and we should look at that. Violence is never acceptable. What happened to Kim and Irene is terrible, and it shouldn't happen. And nobody should be saying it's okay for somebody to be violent. We should also, in that conversation, be honest that there were tragedies well before what we're doing right now to reform this system, and that people were released from prison after serving their entire time and committed horrible offenses. In fact, at a higher rate than they do now. And so for the media and anyone else to suggest that reform is the problem is misplaced. Are there people that commit horrible offenses that require us to respond? Absolutely. Does it mean jail and prison should be the answer to every problem? No, we know that definitively. We have 40 years of evidence to show us that that is not the way to safety.
But then what is your answer? Because that's why you're here. I don't want to just come out here and bash the reform system. That's why I have you here to speak on behalf of progressive reform. But if prison doesn't work, and I wholeheartedly agree that if you take somebody and lock them up in a cage for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, or 20 years, and turn them loose, they're not going to necessarily be better citizens. They don't learn anything. I understand that for every dollar you spend on education in prison, you're going to save $5 in terms of having to take care of that person in some other way. I get it. But a lot of them don't want to participate in the programs that are available in prison. You know that, and I know that. But what is the alternative? Because if you've got someone like the gentleman here that is attacking these women and others, what's your plan for someone like that?
And that person was released under different district attorneys who had a tough on crime approach, was given short prison sentences, and continued to offend and offend and offend. So we can't suggest that reform was the problem with this man that violently attacked women. Is he a problem? 100%. Do we need a solution? 100%.
What is it?
It has to be a locked mental health facility where that man can get the treatment he needs. He's obviously severely mentally ill. He's attacking people unprovoked. He's attacking them for reasons that nobody can explain. There's obviously something happening in that man's brain.
But you agree he should not
address.
be in a free society. He needs to be locked down somewhere.
Until we figure out what the problem is and a medication regimen or some kind of treatment regimen that is appropriate to what he's struggling with. I don't know this man, I haven't seen his file, but we can tell by his conduct that there's serious mental health issues. When we address those, hopefully he can be in society. Until we do, we have to be safe and take the precautions we need. But prison didn't solve that. Let's be honest about that.
The problem with progressive prosecutors and ideological prosecutors is that they start releasing people before they have a plan. So when she says to you that progressive prosecutors want that person in a custodial setting so that they can receive mental health treatment, they haven't done any of that. Their plan is to release first and again, hope that he complies with the program.
We can have different opinions, Dr. Phil, but we can't have different facts. The fact is that those who were more moderate or even harsher on crime, tougher on crime, they didn't have a plan either.
Do you have a story or a question for me? Click the link in the description and tell me what in the world is going on.